Here's the construction for the bend level indicator project. For this, we will require B-box, 2-pin patch cords, and bend sensor along with power supply with its batteries. The basic connections are: you take IR transmitter, the transparent one, and IR receiver, the black one, and connect it to either sides of the rubber tube. So I insert the IR transmitter to one end of the rubber tube and IR sensor to the other end of the rubber tube. Next, I connect the 2-pin patch cord to the IR transmitter side, where the red wire will connect to the long pin of the IR transmitter, whereas the black pin will connect to the short pin of the IR transmitter. Similarly, for the IR sensor, here it is the other way around. The red will go to the short pin and the black will go to the longer pin. Okay, now that the connections of IR bend sensor is done, we will connect them to the B box. On the IR sensor side, I'll connect the IR sensor pins patch cord to the A1 sensor, where you also notice at this point I've connected a 2-pin connector to the patch cord. Here, connected to A1, the red goes to plus of A1 and black goes to minus of A1. Similarly, on the IR transmitter side, I'll connect this 2 pins to V1 of B box. Here too, the red goes to positive and black goes to minus. So the connections are done. Last, we connect the battery for power supply, and it is ready to be programmed.
Let's look at a programming part for the bend level indicator project. Drag a start component under settings tab, A1 input, analog, save. Drag a decision component. According to the values checked in the B profiler, what's happening is when we bend the bend sensor with little pressure, one LED of port B1 will glow. When we bend with little more pressure, 2 LED. Little more pressure, 3 LED will glow, and with maximum pressure, 4 LED will glow. For that, this decision is when the bend sensor is bent with maximum pressure, that is, all the 4 LEDs of port B will glow. Now, this, according to the values checked in a B profiler, decision when input A1 is in between 0 to 70. What happens? All the LEDs of port B glow. So output port B, all the LED will glow. Next, drag another decision component. This is when the bend sensor is bent with little more pressure, not the maximum pressure but little more pressure. So when input A1 is in between 70 to 180. What happens? 3 LEDs of port B glow. For that, enable all the pins and B4 is 0. Now drag another decision component. This is when the bend sensor is bent with less pressure. So decision when A1 is between 180 to 200. 350. What happens? 2 LEDs of pin port B glows. For that, B1, B2, B3, B4 enable and make B3 and B4 0. Now drag another decision component. This is when the sensor is bent with minimum pressure, with least pressure. For that, A1 between 350 to 500. What happens? Only one LED of port B glows. For that, B1, B2, B3, B4 make everything 0 except B1. Next, drag another decision component. And when A1 is, this is to put off all the LEDs when the sensor is not bent. For that, when A1 is greater than 500, put off all the LEDs. Enable B1, B2, B3, B4. Make everything 0. So, this is the program.
I've connected the batteries. Now the program has been loaded to B box. Let us see it in action. As I bend the bend sensor, LEDs on port B, that is B1, B2, B3, B4, turn on in sequence depending upon the amount of bend. So I start bending now. It starts glowing from B1 onwards. B1, I bend furthermore B2, furthermore B3, furthermore B4. So that's the maximum limit. As I start releasing the bend and making it straight, the LEDs also reduce down the order. B4, B3, B2, and when I keep it straight, now the LEDs glow.